Good evening, Maniacs. Back at you again with another video. Thought I would put this one up. I have not seen anything else about this one out there online, and I kind of wanted to, if anybody had any questions, I wanted them to be able to be answered. What we're looking at today is the Temple version 2. Now, I don't know if it's the actual version 2 or not. I know it's different than the first version. So for the purposes of our video, I'm calling it the version 2. This is the box it comes in. Standard Vaperz Cloud stuff. Inside the box, the packaging it came in. Spare O-rings, spare screws, build, the obligatory blue screwdriver, and your read this before you use it so you don't sue us book. That's all that's in the box, okay? Now this version, this is it right here. There's a lot of, not a lot, but there are some really big differences between this one and the original version, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go side by side with the version 1, okay? So our first thing you'll notice is our hole pattern is different. It's the same kind of diagonal thing going on, but this one isn't near as tall, and it also doesn't have this bottom row. So as you can see, it's wider and not as tall here, and it doesn't have this bottom across there. And that was one of a lot of people didn't like, because you couldn't turn all the airflow off. You couldn't really put it to where you wanted it. It was even on the lowest setting, it was still pretty damn airy. So that's the difference there as far as the airflow. You'll also notice that the deck is gold plated. So this one is the original, just your basic stainless steel deck, and for this one they gold plated it, which is cool. Now let's see if we can get this right here. You'll see that on the newer one, the pin protrudes just a little bit more, so that's cool as well. So they actually put a little bit more, making it more for hybrids, right? Now the inside, if you remember these, is just your standard two-post velocity deck. Something, you know, we've seen all the way around. You notice the square screws, 2 O-rings. So that's the version 1, okay? You kind of see, and you notice it's got those cutouts right there. That cutout is gone, thank God. So that's the version 1. So now we've kind of refreshed our memory with the version 1. We'll step on over here to the version 2. Taking a tour, the hole pattern obviously different than the version 1. This is not an 810. This is a proprietary size, which kind of sucks because it's kind of big, but it looks very similar. You still got the same cutouts there, still got the same venting fin thing, or not venting, but a cooling off fin thing there that never actually works. And it's a little bit conical in there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it does have a little bit of curve to it. Not a whole heck of a lot, but it's got a little bit. And then going over to the barrel, the airflow holes, once again, I mean, just dig that. That is just crazy. So much better. So much freaking better. Really digging on this. You have the Temple engraving on one side. If I can get a little bit of focus here, that probably wouldn't hurt nothing, I expect. There we go. So you've got the same Temple logo. Nowhere does it say a 2 or V2 or anything on this damn thing. So it's kind of weird. That's to the side. Then the deck bottom part, once again gold plated. 2 O-rings. Now this is where it gets weird. If you just look at it from the top, you're going to see, oh well, it's just a 4-post. No, It is not a 4-post. This is a 2-post. It's very similar. The post system is very similar to what's that called? The one with the mountains on the side. Shit, I can't think of it. You know what I'm talking about, though. It's got the same one hole for two, for both your leads. Okay. This thing, that thing in the middle, that is your series post. So this is running in series. By that it means if you would have 2 coils on here, if you have a 0.2 and you put a second coil on there, you end up with a 0.1. It halves your resistance. This, it doesn't halve your resistance, and I don't think it doubles it or nothing. I'm not sure exactly what it does for the ohms. I've not tested that part of it out. But this is coming in, I'm wanting to say at a 0.3. And that is 22 gauge clapped, fused 22 gauge clapped in with 34. Let's see if I can get just a little bit more of a close-up there. So that's what we're looking at build-wise. So with a fused like that, I would kind of expect it to be somewhere around the 0.1, 0.15 range. So in essence, it probably is doubling it. But that makes it handy dandy for your series box. That's the, there we go. So let's take a vape real quick and let you just kind of look at that. Alright, happy days. Alright, so basically what you can do with this thing, it's brilliant. Now I didn't want to take the build out, but there's that's going to move here in a minute anyway. But when you're building this, you can take this out. This middle part comes out. I'm going to try to do this without messing with the build too terrible much, if I can. But it just pops out. It's held in there with just an insulator. Let's see here. You can see it wiggling right there. There we go. So it's out now. If you look down in there, let's see if I can get a view here. Alright, you kind of see there's 2 screws right there in the middle that screw that in to a peak insulator. Okay, and you can take this thing completely out. It's kind of difficult to show you with the build in there, but that whole post comes out. So you can treat this as if it's just a straight velocity style deck. Okay, so that's cool. But if you're wanting to, you can put this post in here and make it a series build, which is kind of handy. Right now I've got this running on a triple 18650 series box, and so it just chuffs away right the thing. But I kind of wanted to, because if you try to treat this like a 4-post, you're going nowhere fast. You have, that's your negative, there's your positive, right? See the little insulator down there at the bottom. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there. That's the only hot wire on here, is this post. So if you run it from here to here, or anywhere, you know what I mean, anywhere but right here, you're getting nothing. These are completely dead. You will not, the only reason they're there is to complete the circuit. So you start in here, go in, it comes into the post, then out of the post here and over to the negative. So that's what's up with this damn thing. It took me a minute to figure it out. Shout out to the Vaping Bogan. He did a video on some sort of massively obese tank that it's a monster, but it has a series deck in it as well, and it was through him that this has been around for a while. This whole series deck thing, I remember hearing something about it like a couple years ago. So this is not new, but it's also something that's not really been in the mainstream. So if you're not familiar with it, it can be a little bit confusing. So the takeaway from all this is you can just take this center post out, completely out, and just use this just like a regular RDA velocity type RDA. So that's really the main thing I wanted you to take away from this, because you just looking at it, it looks like a 4-post Addy, but it is far from that. Okay, so let's see if we can get in here one more time. You've got those 2 screws there. When you take this out, you don't have to undo those screws. You can just wiggle this whole damn thing out. It's kind of like the airflow on the Primero from Vapergate. It just kind of wiggles out. And that is a downside. That's something you'll have to contend with when you're building on here, because when you go to ratchet these screws down, which if you notice are Phillips and not flatheads, thank God, hate flatheads. What was I saying? Yeah, when you go to tighten this down and you're adjusting your coils, that thing will pop out. So when you're adjusting your coils, you literally have to put your thumb and press down while you're adjusting. So it's a little thing, it's not that big a deal, but just something you should be made aware of. And I think that's really all I got to say about this thing. I've been vaping on it for about a week now, and it's decent. Not the best flavor, good cloud production, but it is a damn sight better than that damn thing. A damn sight better. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, like and subscribe. I don't give a shit whether you do or not, but it would be nice. So I think that's about all we have to say today about the old temple. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to put something down in the comments. I usually read them because I don't have very many subscribers, so I have the ability to do such a thing. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.